Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a story about a revolution that started on a simple chessboard. It's about a machine that began with literally zero human knowledge, and in just a handful of hours taught itself to play chess in a way that was beautiful, kind of alien, and just completely dominant. And you'll see this isn't really just about chess. It's about a whole new way of thinking about intelligence itself. And who better to set the stage than Garry Kasparov? You know, the man who famously battled Deep Blue. He knew the age of humans competing against computers was coming to an end. But what nobody saw coming was that an entirely new chapter was about to be written, one that would redefine the game as we knew it. So, to really get why AlphaZero was so radical, we first have to understand the world of chess AI it was born into. For decades, the philosophy was pretty simple: just add more power. I mean, from the very first concepts by Alan Turing all the way to the legendary Deep Blue, the path to building a better chess AI seemed like a straight line. Programmers built these engines on a foundation of brute force calculation, cramming them full of human knowledge, and then just running them on faster and faster computers. By 2017, the undisputed king of the hill was Stockfish, an engine that was basically the peak of this whole approach. And this is where the core difference really was. It was philosophical. You see, traditional engines like Stockfish were these meticulously crafted things packed with decades of human grandmaster expertise and thousands upon thousands of rules. AlphaZero, on the other hand, it was given nothing. No opening books, no strategies, not one single game from history. It was a completely different species of mind. This quote from Kasparov just nails the feeling in the AI community at the time. I mean, the progress was obviously impressive. The engines were incredibly strong, but something felt missing. It was all power, but it wasn't elegant. It was pure calculation, not creativity. And then, in late 2017, Google's DeepMind showed the world what they'd been working on. And it didn't just climb the mountain faster, it saw paths up the rock face that no one, not human or machine, had ever even imagined. The secret sauce behind AlphaZero's power was this concept of tabula rasa. It's a Latin phrase, but it just means blank slate. So instead of being force-fed centuries of human chess wisdom, it was designed to discover all that wisdom, and a whole lot more, entirely on its own. Its entire education was like this super compressed, high-speed version of chess history. It literally started by making random moves. Then, through this incredibly sophisticated process of trial and error, it played millions and millions of games against itself. And here's the kicker. In just a few hours, this blank slate went from a total beginner to the strongest chess-playing entity the planet had ever seen. So this set up the ultimate question, right? On one side, you've got Stockfish, a machine loaded with every bit of chess knowledge humanity and its computers had ever come up with. And on the other side, AlphaZero, a mind that started with nothing but the rules of the game. Even the experts who built it weren't totally sure what was going to happen. When the match results came out, the score was a blowout. But honestly, the score wasn't the real shocker. The shock was how AlphaZero won. It didn't play like any machine we'd ever seen. It played with a style that was dynamic, aggressive, and beautiful, in a way that was just completely alien. Okay, first, its attitude toward material was just wild. While other engines would cling to every last pawn like their life depended on it, AlphaZero saw its pieces as tools, not treasures. It would happily sacrifice them for a long-term advantage, for more space, for taking the initiative, for setting up a devastating attack. It also had this singular, terrifying focus: the enemy king. Its playing style felt like a throwback to the romantic era of chess, kind of like the old champion Paul Morphy. It was just a direct, relentless assault on the most important piece on the board. Every single move served the attack. But its attacks weren't always a lightning strike. It mastered what chess analysts started calling slow-burning attacks. It would patiently build up pressure, move after move, until the opponent's position was just slowly suffocated, with absolutely nowhere left to go. So, AlphaZero's victory wasn't just a win, it was a profound lesson. It forced the entire chess world, from grandmasters to hobbyists, to rethink ideas they had held for decades. In the world of chess engines, you see this number all the time. For years, it meant one thing. The position is equal, it's balanced, it's probably a draw. It was the signal that a brute force calculation couldn't see a clear advantage for either side. AlphaZero just blew this concept to pieces. It showed that a 000 evaluation from a traditional engine could be hiding some really deep strategic advantages that pure calculation was totally blind to. So here's the crucial takeaway. The machine taught us about very human concepts. It proved that things like initiative, the mobility of your pieces, and long-term strategic pressure have a value you can't always count in pawns. It showed us that even after 1,500 years, there were still new, beautiful ideas hiding in the game of chess. But here's the twist. For the scientists at DeepMind, building the world's greatest chess player, well, that was never the real goal. Chess was just the perfect laboratory. Demis Hassabis, the founder of DeepMind, he sees games as the perfect training ground for AI. They're complex, they have clear rules and objectives. They're basically a gym for the mind, where algorithms can practice problem solving before they have to tackle the messy, complicated real world. DeepMind's mission is this incredibly clear three-step plan. First, use games to build and test a general AI. Second, use that AI to solve the problem of intelligence itself. And finally, apply that intelligence to solve, well, everything else. And this is not some far-off sci-fi vision. The very same principles that powered AlphaZero have already been used to make the cooling systems in Google's data centers way more efficient, saving massive amounts of energy. And the potential for fields like drug discovery and climate science, it's just enormous. The ultimate goal here isn't to replace us. As Sissi says, AI can be a meta-solution, a tool that amplifies our own creativity and intelligence, helping us tackle problems that have seemed impossible to solve until now. And that really brings us back to the heart of this whole story. The AlphaZero revolution wasn't really about a chess program. It was a proof of concept. It showed that a machine could be given the bare minimum of rules, and from that blank slate, discover knowledge that goes beyond the sum total of all human expertise. It's a whole new way of creating knowledge itself. And so that leaves us with a final, fascinating question. We've built a mind that can learn like this, from scratch. The only real limit is our own imagination. So what complex, massive problem should we ask it to solve next? Thanks for joining this explainer.